Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another comic book review. We got lots of books from Marvel and lots of books from DC.
Yep.
He's heading most of Marvel this week. I literally only think I have 2 or 3 Marvel books. The rest is all you.
Yep.
And a couple of DC books. Forever Evil continues. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Monday when you watch this. We're recording this on Sunday night, or actually we are technically recording this on Monday morning if you count 12 a.m.
So it's a Sunday, Monday-ish.
Anyway,
yeah.
It's Monday. We are one day away from Dark Avenger Inc.'s big move to Comic Frontline.
Yep.
And we are very excited. We're so excited that we're not even waiting anymore. You guys will have already noticed we have tons of videos that are going up on Comic Frontline already.
But it's like we're saying, we have to do it now, you know, it's like we're clawing and stuff like that. And yeah, I overreacted too much.
Our goal on Comic Frontline is to be at the front line of everything news related with comic books, video games, movies, TV, toys, and more. And last night, actually, we caught some news about the Super Mega Force Power Ranger TV series, which was awesome. We are going to be your forefront for everything comics and more news.
So
That could have
check
gone
us
a lot
out.
better. So definitely go check out Comic Frontline. We have 2 places where you can check us out right now. ComicFrontline.com and Comic Frontline on YouTube. We'll talk more about this at the end, but once again, we are aiming to be at the front line of everything news related. We are your #1 resource for geek and nerd related stuff.
Yes.
In general. We are your geek resource. That's what we're aiming for.
Ooh, geek resource, I like that.
Well, I was thinking of, what was that website?
Geekology?
No. Oh god, why? Think Geek, which is where they sell all that
stuff.
Anyway, the comics we're reviewing today in this episode were released on February 5th, 2014. We are now in the 2nd month of the year. And for a first week, I was surprised. It was pretty tame.
Like a little lowish?
Pretty tame. Next week is pretty tame also, but then again, 2 books are together. Let's start off with Wolverine issue #1. No.
No?
No. Wolverine no longer has a healing factor. He has a scar thanks to Sabretooth and just a bunch of... He's even thinking about, you know, growing old because now he's mortal, so obviously he's going to be aging again. He's able to age. His healing factor doesn't keep him young anymore. And love Steve Ditko's artwork. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice artwork. Let's go back to the beginning where I can show you guys some artwork.
Oh, wow.
Not Steve Ditko. Wow, I'm really good. Ryan Stegman. Steve Ditko, I'm thinking of something else completely. I'm thinking of Spider-Man. I know a few people are already going, Chris, Steve Ditko. No, I'm sorry. Something Spider-Man I was reading before. Ryan Stegman's artwork is really nice, but it definitely does not keep me with this book at all. I have no interest in Wolverine maybe going to the dark side or whatever, being immortal.
So you got the animal cover.
That's why I bought the animal cover. The animal cover basically was, if I didn't like the issue, at least I came out with a really nice cover. And that's what I did. Came out with a really nice cover.
Smart move.
Black Widow, next mission, she is to rescue this guy who's in jail. He was wrongfully put in jail for something he never did, and her mission was to rescue him. Except halfway through the mission, or towards the end of the mission, she finds out that it was fake. And not only does the mission kind of go left, but it goes right down, up, left, around the block and back again. And yeah, she doesn't make any money off of this mission because basically this was a mission to get her killed, or yeah, basically to get her killed. I like the artwork. I'm not gonna say it's the best artwork ever.
Isn't it kind of a little sketchy-ish?
I was thinking watercolor-ish.
Well, watercolor, yeah. That's what I meant. Like the mix between sketchy and watercolor, yeah.
But it all leads into the next issue, which is S.H.I.E.L.D. actually calls on Black Widow for an assignment. I'm not sure I really like that. It ends every single comic book with her looking at a spiderweb, but then again, it is Black Widow.
So it doesn't give a sign of Spider-Man or anything?
No signs of Spider-Man or anything like that, no.
Okay. would be nice to see Spider-Man,
But
yeah.
it shows off Black Widow's skill once again, and basically it's Black Widow. Either you're going to be a fan of her by now, or
Ooh.
you're not. Yeah,
What'd
I know.
you do?
I didn't do anything. The
Copying
shipper.
me.
No, not at all. This is what happens when you have people who rush through comic bagging and boarding, and then I end up having to get another bag. But beside the point, I enjoyed Black Widow. It was a nice book. It was a nice issue. Again, I feel like this is going to be a series where every other book is going to be a mission, which is why Black Widow definitely needs to go to a once-a-month book, because A, it's going to get old really fast if it's twice a month, and B, people are not going to be willing to buy, especially for $3.99 Black Widow, if every other book is another mission.
Yep.
With no big major arc. Maybe there will be a story arc connected to it at some point, but right now there isn't.
Yep.
Next is a book I was not going to touch. We did not get one book this week, and everybody's praising it, but we're not reading it. I'm not a fan of this character, and I don't think you are. Miss Marvel #1 we did not get.
No.
I'm not interested in the character, never was, even when it was Carol. Only reason I'm getting Captain Marvel is because it sounds interesting. It's cosmic.
Yeah, I don't think I ever read Miss
I've
Marvel
never read
so.
Miss Marvel, so it's not because it's a new character, it's just I have no interest in that character or anything.
Okay.
This is another #1.
Yeah, the all-new Marvel now, Loki, Agent of Asgard, issue #1. And to be honest, I really liked it.
I figured you would.
I mean, Loki, he's the mischievous guy. You could love him, you could hate him, but he is just, like, they really depicted him really well. This actually takes place after Thor, God of Thunder, actually. It starts off with what Loki did to Thor, which leads on to why he did it, as you're reading. So here are, well, I'll show you other artwork.
I don't think they want
And no, I don't think so either. But, yeah, here we go. So Loki is, you know, he sees the Avengers, like, after he fell out of the window. Well, he met Thor first, and he was kind of drunk a little bit and not acting like himself. And then Loki talks a little about himself. And the thing about Thor that I didn't really like about his character, like right here, he says to kill him, kill Loki. And I remember when you talked about him in Thor: God of Thunder. And here's the reason why he was acting like that. There was this certain, like, red thing that was in him that consumed his body, and it was like a certain poison, basically, and that's the reason why he acted like that, and Loki kept it in a little jar. That way it won't get released, so Loki and Thor, they have a one-on-one brother talk with each other, and in the end, what Loki doesn't do, and I kind of knew that I would see this coming, but, yeah. What are you doing?
You want to see the previous page again?
So, we're probably going to see something, what we saw from the past Thor issue. Well, let's recommend it. I mean, the artwork is great, and even the story. I really thought I wasn't going to like it because I thought it was going to be all boring stuff. But to be honest, I was wrong. I actually really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
So I'll be definitely coming back for issue 2 to see what's new. Oh, wow, more. Okay. The Superior Foes of Spider-Man issue #8. Is it just me, or because I found this a little bit too up and down, sort of. Like a half and half read.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant some other type of up and down.
Looking over that, because I know exactly what you're thinking. Superior Foes of Spider-Man.
No, you don't, you dirty boy.
Superior Foes of Spider-Man. It really talks more about Boomerang, that he's like talking to, you know, the, like basically he's like talking to these guys who are looking for the head of Silvio Silvermane, which the Shocker actually has, and he thinks, you know, that the head can't do much, and it overestimates him when he like bites him there. So I thought that was kind of a funny scene. Meanwhile, we go to Moth after she talks to her father Tombstone, and she talks about about her father a little bit, and basically like what we saw from the last issue, and then it goes right back to Boomerang, where they're asking him like why you snuck into the Owl's lair, Mr. Owl's lair and all that other stuff, and he just gets really tortured in that, and then he goes to his girlfriend where they have their little, like, it's mostly dialogue, like there's really not that much dialogue. Yeah, there's really not that much of action, which is what kind of made the book a little bit boring. So that's why I said it was an iffy read. And then he talks also about why he got the Doctor Doom portrait, which leads into somebody that's actually has sights to killing Deadpool. Very nice. Of killing Boomerang. And if you want to know who that person is, well, you're gonna have to read the book and find out who it is. But
or stay tuned till the next issue.
Or stay tuned till the next issue. But it's okay, I guess. It's there. All New Invaders issue number 2, Captain America and Bucky.
Yeah, I don't know either. He got a lot of Marvel books this week.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's like, and Chris? And Chris? Nope.
Keep going. This is our...
Keep going!
Yeah. Captain America and Bucky come to the rescue to save Jim Hammond, or originally known as...
Notice this time I didn't take too many chances with the Marvel Now things. I let him take most of the chances. I'll be taking chances when DC releases their new books, don't worry.
Yeah, so they save the Human Torch, but first they do like a little prologue about Bucky, which I thought was really interesting, and then goes into like the regular story where here's Captain America and Bucky. I really like the artwork. Or Winter Soldier, actually. I thought it was Bucky.
It is Bucky. Bucky's Winter Soldier.
Yeah, so why can't I just say Bucky?
Keep going.
So anyway, they fight off against Talith, because I almost forgot what her name was, and they do the same thing like they did last issue, where they go through a vision, like Bucky actually, or it goes into like a major liberty of what they used to do and what they did during the war. And it has a hella reference to it as well of the fight scene. And they were also talking about that they're looking for Namor, and we saw basically that he was taken by like the Bree, I believe. Like I can't remember. Well, they're trying to not be in a situation where he was. The original Vision comes in, who is this alien guy right here, and really, so now, Kree was who Namor was taken by. So now all three of them are going to invade them to get Namor back from being there. So this is very adventurous and an enjoyable read. So. I'll be definitely coming back for this issue. And finally, my book of the week. And it's back. The Punisher issue number 1. The Punisher goes to LA.
Who writes it this time?
Let me go see. Because whoever wrote the writer of the book was actually a real genius in this one. Let me go check. The writer is Nathan Edmondson. That's
no Greg Rucka this time.
Yeah, I don't know why, but the story of this one's also good. Okay. So he's in LA, or actually in Mexico, and he's asking these guys about where the drugs are and who it's going to, and he just killed. Here's an epic pose of the Punisher. Artwork.
The Punisher's really in Los Angeles now.
Yes. So instead of being on the east side, now he's on the west side. So he's just trying to find out about the coin that he found, and it's actually a skull, and it's a memento mori, which actually is going to play a really role. It means that death is inevitable, the coin. So then, you know, he's just trying to find out where the nest of Hector is that is actually behind doing all the drugs. So that way he could stop them, because he doesn't like people who are on drugs, because it actually hurts a lot of people with money they pay as well. So him and Hector go on a little bit of a car ride, and the Punisher, like, the guy, Hector's like saying, you know, you're crazy to go in there, but he just doesn't go in there. He just blows the building up with a rocket launcher and leaves Hector tied or handcuffed actually to the car. And then...
Oh, that doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, and with the police investigation, there are 3 gangs who are going to tear Punisher limb from limb, because, like I said before, death is inevitable. And they will definitely try to make sure of that.
With the Punisher.
With the Punisher, but just, wow. I am so glad this came back. Not a disappointment. It is really just amazing. And let's hope, please hope, that this will be an ongoing series and not a mini-series. Once.
And this time it doesn't go to him, it goes to me. The Superior Carnage Annual Issue #1.
And I read half of it.
This is a $5 book. And it feels like I read a $2 to $3 book. However, the story is really good, so I guess the story makes up for the shortness of it. Long story short, Carnage and Cletus Cassidy are now separated. The Carnage symbiote is on Spider Island, where Doc Ock Spidey is analyzing and researching it. And Cletus Cassidy is, I forgot where he was transferred, what jail it was. Maybe they'll mention it in the beginning of the book.
Was it Rikers Island?
Kramer Penitentiary.
Oh, that was Rikers
in New
Island.
Jersey. So he no longer has the symbiote no longer has him, but without him the symbiote dies, and without the symbiote Cletus Cassidy is easy to die, and apparently somebody wants Cletus dead in the penitentiary, so he gets stabbed or shanked, so to speak. And we find out later who it was. Spoiler alert here. It was one of the psychiatrists in the institute. He basically knows that the symbiote's going to come after Cletus. He wants Cletus to be dead. This way when the symbiote does come for him, the symbiote will have no choice but to bond with him instead of Cletus, because Cletus will be dead. What this idiot didn't realize was the symbiote brings people back to life, or it fixes people. Anyway, but the symbiote somehow minorly survives through a scientist who's actually researching the remaining tiny piece of symbiote left of Carnage. And what happens is basically the Carnage symbiote does body jumping. It jumps from one person to the other, all the way up until it gets to the penitentiary, where it meets up with Cletus. Cletus is dead though, however, and the scientist is like, I'm here, you have no choice now, you have to join me, we'd be perfect together. However, it bonds with Cletus, and Carnage is reborn. And Cletus says, we are not just the symbiote, we are not just human, we are not just host or symbiote, we are Carnage, there is only Carnage. And then he goes on to a bloodbath of murder, and it ends with him going, old times have come again, and it's to be continued in Deadpool vs. Carnage.
Well, at least it's not the Carnage with the guns and everything like we saw.
I guess this is going to be the first Deadpool, the first Carnage miniseries of the year. Usually they do 2, but we'll see. So Carnage is going after Deadpool. I don't know.
Did you hear what I said? At least it's not the one with the guns and everything. This is the Carnage that we could actually...
I can't wait till we get rid of the whole Superior title completely. Like, no more Superior.
Yeah, like, why is there so many Superior titles? I mean, it's Cletus Cassidy. It's not anybody else, so it should just be Carnage or something Carnage.
But, all in all, it was a really good issue. It just felt really, really quick to read. I felt like the story was very plain. Carnage is here. Cletus is here. The symbiote jumps from body to body to body to get back to Cletus. Cletus is killed because he no longer has the
But brought
symbiote to
back
protect him.
with the symbiote.
But once the symbiote came and they bonded again, he's alive again. That was the whole story. There really was no point to it. It was just the rebirth of Carnage. Basically, this book erases everything that happened from Minimum Carnage all the way through, even past the Superior Carnage miniseries. The Superior Carnage annual basically erased everything that happened in the past year of Carnage, which was dumb, because that basically means the writers knew they messed up, not only with the first series, but with the second one, and they had to make sure to fix it in an annual.
Yeah, and to me, it's like we've seen this a couple of times before already in some Carnage titles.
And again, Carnage was always an awesome character because you rarely saw him, and when you saw him, it was like, oh my god. Now, every year, for the past 3 years or 4 years, Marvel has been releasing, 3 or 4 years, Marvel's been releasing Carnage miniseries. Carnage is becoming overused now. As a main villain, you don't want to use him once or twice a year. You want to see him once every 2 years, once every 3 years. It makes his impact when he comes out, or when he pops his head out, that much more impactful. If you're going to just have him in every other month, a different miniseries, it's going to lessen the impact of, oh my god, it's Carnage.
Unless there's a popular demand that everybody wants more Carnage comic books because it's a popular title. That's why they're doing more of the popular characters, so that way they're out there. Rather than waiting years and then, you know... I don't know. I mean, that's Marvel. That's what I'm guessing. I'm not
now,
saying...
we have a couple of DC books, and we have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to jump into 2 books really quick. Action Comics, issue number 28. This is no offense to Greg Pak, but I feel like this story is a forgettable story. Why do I feel that way? Because I've already forgotten this. I read this first. That was a big mistake, because I honestly cannot really tell you guys much about this book, because it's just a forgettable story. It's Lana Lang and Superman working together. There was that little mate kind of joke thing where it's like, oh, is that your mate? And they look at each other and they're like, no. Artwork is nice. It's your standard cliffhanger where Superman looks like he's going to die, but we all know he isn't. And, you know, by the next issue, he'll be fine. I don't know. I just don't feel like really this is a story that I'm going to remember 5 years from now. Unlike...
So it's just forgettable.
It's a forgettable story. Greg Pak has not written something yet that I remember, that I can honestly sit here and say I remember, except for the first story arc of Batman Superman. However, it was ruined by...
Greg Pak.
No, it was ruined by Jay Lee.
Jay Lee. Oh, the artwork by Jay Lee. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was wondering, like, what
So, unfortunately, the one story arc I do remember from Greg Pak right now that involves Superman, it was ruined by artwork that didn't belong in a comic book, or at least not in a Superman-Batman comic book. Jay Lee has a very stylized way of drawing. Covers, indie books, certain types of darker toned books, yes. Superman, Batman, anything like that, no. Alright, and finally, and then we'll take our commercial break. Batwing, issue number 28. It no longer has the Gothtopia logo, but obviously it's still part 2 of what happened in Gothtopia. Luke is now out of the trance of whatever toxin that Scarecrow's put throughout Gotham. The GCPD understands what's going on as well. Luke is looking for his sister. He goes all over town looking for answers or some type of clues into finding where she is. He hears about, what was this guy's name? I forgot, the rat guy, whatever his name is, and the guy from the annual, the Batwing annual, or not Batwing annual, the Batwing 0-year issue. And he wants to ruin Luke Fox's life, and he basically takes Luke's other sister as well, his younger sister. So now Luke's family is getting picked off piece by piece. What is he going to do next? I guess we'll see in the next issue. Really quick, I believe this turned from a Gothtopia tie-in back to basically a Batwing story now, and that's why Gothtopia is no longer even on the cover of this book, which is good. Is it still part of Gothtopia? Of course, because you had to read part 1, which was Gothtopia. But I feel like it's going its own way now.
Yep.
It's moving in its own direction.
Yeah.
So that's Batwing. I've highly recommended it ever since Luke Fox took over as Batwing. The artwork is superb. The story is really good. Did it need to cross over with Gothopia? Absolutely not. I think that Gothopia should have just stayed in Detective Comics, the special, the big gigantic book special, and continued all the way through till its end in Detective Comics. It didn't need to stretch out to every other Bat Family book like all the other Bat books usually do when it's a big story arc.
Yeah.
And guys, that's it. So we're going to take a really quick commercial break. So stay tuned. We got the rest of DC Comics. So hang tight and we will be right back after these messages. Hey everybody, and welcome back to this week's comic book review. Next up is a flip book. Why is it a flip book? I'll show you in a second. Green Lantern, issue 28.
Don't you read red?
What's that say?
Oh, green. Oh.
Thank you. Green Lantern 28. You're talking about something else.
Oh, I
see.
It was on the other. Yeah.
Because this month, they were very cute, DC Comics. They decided to make a double-sized issue of Green Lantern 28 because not only do you get Green Lantern 28, but if you flip the book like this, you get Red Lanterns 28.
I thought you showed that side.
So Red Lanterns is selling better than Green Lanterns, so they purposely did that, so this way you had to buy both books. But they're both the same story anyway, so it's not a big loss if, let's say, you know, you're like, and it's the same price. It's $2.99. So they didn't even up the price $1, and you're getting double issues here for $2.99. That's some good stuff. However, Supergirl is a Red Lantern. How did that happen? Where did the ring come from? We don't know. We don't know nothing. It starts off with Supergirl as a Red Lantern coming across 2 Green Lanterns and basically trying to beat the crap out of them until she tires herself out.
Well, it's rage. That's why.
Then we go back to Oa, or I'm sorry, it's not Oa anymore, Mogo, and we're continuing the story arc from what happened in the Green Lantern Corps Annual, where the villains are now becoming members of the Green Lantern Corps. This way, you know, they can fight the Durlans and win, you know, bring peace back to the universe or to the Green Lanterns. Then Supergirl gets brought to Mogo, and she's out of control, and then we get the whole dialogue about, oh, here we go again, we gotta deal with the Reds, we gotta deal with this and that. They find out that Supergirl's Kryptonian. Apparently nobody in the DC Universe really knew about Superman having a cousin yet. Go figure. Usually, but anyway. We also get a scene with Saint Walker, who still will not accept his ring back, so his ring just stays there floating next to him. He just doesn't have it in him to accept hope again. He doesn't have that emotion within him anymore. And Hal's trying to convince him, you know, we have a Red Lantern here, and she needs to be fixed, she needs to be cleansed, and you're the only one that can do it. You're the last Blue Lantern, and he's like, I don't feel that way at this time. And Hal's trying to pep talk him everything. And Saint Walker gives the best answer to everything. If hope is to be found again, Lantern Jordan, it must be I who finds it. Until then, my road will be traveled alone. In other words, leave me alone, Hal. You're not helping. You're just making it harder. So Hal travels to Yasmalt to get help from Guy Gardner. And it's to be continued in Red Lanterns. Issue number 28. But however, before we get into that, we find out we have to continue the story that happened in Red Lanterns 27, where Guy Gardner's on Earth, and his 2 people are basically in the mix with Shadow Thief, who hates aliens, remember. So Guy Gardner has to stop Shadow Thief, and he promised Ice he would not, no matter what, use his fists. We all know that he tried really hard for a little while, but in the end he did. We get a scene with Rancor and Bleeze versus Atrocitus, and one of the new Red Lanterns, the one that got Ratchet's ring, and Dexstar. It goes back and forth between the two fights for a little bit. Then we get back into, after a little bit of that, we get back into the main story where the Green Lanterns are now on Yasmal, and Guy Gardner is approached by Hal Jordan about the new Red Lantern, and he's like, you know, this is a problem that's going on. What's going, you know, he wants basically Guy to fix it. Guy has no idea what to do. Supergirl gets out, a little bit of a fight ensues. They toss her into the ocean, into the sea. That kind of clean that, because Supergirl, when you get the Red Lantern ring, you're all rage, you're crazy, and you're an uncontrollable monster. You throw them into the blood ocean, and they come out, and they've got their common sense back, their ability to speak again, and they're calmer. And they find out that she's Kara Zor-El, and guess what? Superman's name is Kal-El. So if both of them are L, basically Guy and Hal figure out that she's family to, guess who? Superman. To be continued.
Wow.
Oh, and of course Atrocitus, Rancor finds a way for Bleeze to escape. He actually sacrifices himself and sends Bleeze away to warn Guy Gardner about Atrocitus and his plans to come back and destroy destroy Guy Gardner and change the Red Lantern Corps back to the way it was. And we all know Guy Gardner's not going to let that happen. And to be honest, after Guy joined the Red Lanterns, if Guy somehow gets thrown off or is no longer the leader of the Red Lanterns and it goes back to Atrocitus like the first 12-ish issues were or more, I'll probably end up dropping Red Lanterns again, because I only started reading Red Lanterns again when Guy Gardner actually joined up with the Red Lanterns. Because, no offense, it was no fun reading Atrocitus. He was just a very boring character that needed that space where you don't see him all the time for the entire book. Swamp Thing issue 28, the cover says it all. You get the origin of Capuchine, or Capuchine, whatever. The Parliament of Trees has been cut off from the world now. Basically, Swamp Thing is the only avatar left of the Green, the only thing in the Green. However, he didn't bring the Parliament back. He brought the Wolf back. He brought one of the other avatars back that helped him. And he also brought the Lady Moss back. I believe that's what it was. Oh, I'm sorry, the Lady Weeds. So now all three of them are human, and his responsibility. I like this page. I want to show off the artwork here. But they want to know what the world is like now, because they became part of the Green eons ago, centuries ago. And they go off and they actually experience the world for a bit. And then they go back and basically Swamp Thing says, stay here, I gotta go find somebody, I have to... Because if you remember in the Cedar arc, he basically threatened to kill Capuchine. So now it's up to Alec Holland to kind of make peace again. And after a bit of a tiny bit of dialogue, they make peace, and we finally get Capuchine's story, and we find out that she's linked to Etrigan. Go figure. When she dies, she becomes his servant. So Swamp Thing not only allows a sanctuary, but what was it? He says she earned even more than that. And then they go back and they get introduced, or Swamp Thing gets introduced to Knot and the Serene, who are there to basically make his fondest dreams come true. Interesting? Wouldn't you say?
It sounds interesting.
To be continued. Really good book, but once again, a straight-up origin. It's not misleading the title at all. You're getting her origin in this entire book. The end. With a little bit of continuation with the story and a bit of a cliffhanger. Hey, speaking of Gothtopia, how about that Batman Detective Comics, issue number 28. Batman is now a prisoner in Arkham Asylum, but now Batman remembers everything. So Batman, now remembering everything and realizing what's going on, he escapes. Because if you remember, I read and reviewed Annual number 2, he knows all of the security measures in Arkham Asylum. As a matter of fact, he has a back door into them. So he escapes his cell, he knocks everybody out, and it's up to him to find a cure for the toxin that Scarecrow has made. And he still doesn't understand why Scarecrow went from fear to everything being amazing and content. And he has to escape Arkham Asylum because flashback showed that hours ago he gets a visit from Catbird, who he's actually saying, "You're Catwoman, you should know this." And she's like, "Why can't you just accept, what we have now?" I mean, we all know Catwoman's already kind of, she knows that it's, it's fake, but she doesn't want to accept it. She'd rather live in the fake, just like Batgirl. And Batman is not willing, he says, "I'm going to figure out a way to save you." And she's like, "They're going to cut you open, they're going to fix your brain if you don't." Batman frees Poison Ivy. They figure out a formula, an antidote to the toxin, and Poison Ivy basically puts the dot, fills in the empty holes or connects the dots and tells Batman, basically the reason that Scarecrow made everything so content was with no fear or worries. When his fear toxin is put into effect, it's 20,000 times more intense than if it was like regular Gotham and everybody already has worries and fears. He's got an even purer type of fear. So Batman and Poison Ivy escape, only to come face to face with Batman's worst fear. Looks like his family's kind of in the clutches, so to speak, of Scarecrow, but we'll leave that for the next issue. Here's some artwork. I'm definitely enjoying Gothtopia in Detective Comics. I believe the story should stay in Detective Comics. It doesn't need to go out into connecting books. I thought that was good enough, if you left that to the Batman book. But already Batgirl's crossed over with Batman, with now Detective Comics. I mean, you don't have to attach all of your books to the main flagship books like Detective Comics and Batman. Dark Knight's ending, for obvious reasons. But there's no need to connect things all the time. I think Batman books sometimes are better when they're just in their own book. Next is yours.
Yep. And this is also a book of the week from DC
This time I
Comics.
separated his books a little bit more.
Yeah. Book of the week, Green Arrow, issue number 28, The Outsiders War, Part 3, The Final Lesson. Last issue we found out that Green Arrow found out who was behind all this, and it was his father.
Mm-hmm. Who looked just like Green Arrow from the
Premium 52. So when we begin, he at first doesn't believe, that he's his father, and the father talks about the story here, about how it came to be. By the way, the artwork is excellently drawn. And he talks about his side of the story, about where he's been and why he was basically testing out Green Arrow, like the final test, to get him ready for a war that is coming. He's basically preparing him for that, because if not, then he would have died as soon, like 1, 2, 3. So that's why he did all these scenarios to them. Then he talks about Magnus, how he saved him, and also there's a Count Vertigo that's mentioned, along with Lacrosse, who is known as Komodo. But he still doesn't believe that it's his father, and even Shado, like, he says, like, you lied to me all this time and made me look like a fool, and how dare you do that. So with that, Kodiak, who we saw from last issue, finds them, and it goes to Naomi and Henry Piff about the dragon, where John Diggle comes in, and he's asking them a question of if both of them are going to help him stop the dragon, because the dragon plays a good part. Then it goes to Komodo and her daughter, which has you can find out for that. I love how they did this page, where they have little fight scenes against Kodiak, like in that the letters and stuff. And they both fight him, and they work together. And then at the end, Green Arrow knocks out his father, and he just says just both of you just go to hell, basically. And then we go to the cathedral where the leader of the Shield clan is talking about everything, and he just orders both him and Onyx around, and they don't like to be told what to do, so they, spoiler, kill him. And now Komodo and Onyx, well actually Komodo really, is now the leader of the clan, and now it is time for war. And I'm like, oh man, things are about to get real. Like, the war, wow. It makes me want to know I want to know, like, right now, like, how this whole war is going to play out. How Green Arrow is going to survive this war. So, book of the week, flat out. Highly recommend it. Even the artwork. It's just both 2 for the price of 1 equals 1 epic book.
Earth 2 issue number 20. This is a Jay Lee cover. Don't worry, everybody. Jay Lee does not do the internal artwork. It stays the way it's been, and it has been amazing. It takes place right after the events of Earth 2 Annual, where we find out the origin of Earth 2 Batman, which is, we all knew it, Thomas Wayne, and how Bruce Wayne found Thomas Wayne, etc. Check out last week's review if you'd like to hear more about the Earth 2 Annual. So, the Hawkgirl, Aquawoman, Batman, and Agent Sato are basically escaping from parademons. But we find out that Aquawoman has the ability to control water, even if it's clouds in the sky. And basically she drowns all the parademons in the sky.
Not in the water?
And then she goes, no. Then she goes back to Atlantis, but gives Batman a means for calling upon her if he ever needs her again. We come face to face with Red Arrow and Dr. Fate again. He's broken. He says, the Queen, the Child, the Resurrected, bless you, Hope.
Thank you.
Angel in the Slaughter, the Alien, the Murderer, crumbles, boom, it crumbles. So all this is going to be playing into, obviously, this story arc. Lois actually talks with Val a bit. Val is basically, what's the word Batman uses? Agoraphobic. Basically, he's afraid of wide open spaces. He likes to be in a tiny...
You mean an irrational fear of that?
Yeah, it's an irrational fear of being in a wide open space. He
claustrophobia
likes claustrophobia. He likes to be in those tiny little spaces instead of being out in a humongous world. He's also afraid he's going to hurt somebody because he knows about all the power he'll get when he's exposed to Earth's yellow sun, which is why he preferred to be in that cell. He didn't want to be out and about, and he didn't want to be exposed to the yellow sun because he was afraid that he would hurt somebody. Superman destroys every single religious symbol or chapel, anything. He destroys church. You see everything being destroyed. Churches, synagogues, I forgot what the Buddhist temples. I don't even know why they added Scientology into this, but we're not going to get into that debate. We're just going to say Scientology, the Jesus statue that's in Peru, everything destroyed. And basically he is now their only idol. Basically Darkseid is the only god now. And there's some dialogue between Val and Lois, aka Red Tornado, and he's like, do you think that's really Superman? And she laughs. He's like, what's so funny? She's like, no matter what happened, no matter what, that is not Clark. That is not the man I married, because the man I loved was gentle. He was too gentle, too true, and too stubborn to turn into a monster. And his worst fear would be the disapproval of his parents. So whoever it is, it's not Superman. So then Val gets his first dose of yellow sunlight, and we might be seeing Earth 2's very own Superman or boy or something, now that he's actually accepted the yellow sunlight and accepted that, the fate of the world could be in his hands. he's the only one that can actually stop Superman. So this was really good. I like it. A lot of people keep asking me, do you think there's a way for Superman Earth 2 to be redeemed? Again, just like in the animated series, if he's been brainwashed, if they have the ability to break that brainwash, I believe that Superman will either exile himself or he will try to redeem himself by fixing what he's done and then disappearing for a while. But I know that if Superman can be snapped out of whatever he's in, there is redemption, but it's going to be a very long process, and I think even for Earth 2, it's going to take a while for the world to trust Superman, that Superman again, if ever at all. But I think it's going to hurt him the most snapping out of it, realizing what he's done, because in the animated series, it wasn't as bad, but in this, I think it would definitely break Superman a bit more.
Yep. For every Blight, Trinity of Sin, The Phantom Stranger, issue number 16 was almost Book of the Week. And, it's...
We're now on Forever Evil, by the way, if you guys didn't know.
Yes. So, this comic book was, really awesome. Talks about, from what happened last issue, where John Constantine knows where, his team, Zatanna and the rest of Justice League, Dark Team are located. So, meanwhile, there's a Phantom Stranger and Nightmare Nurse, do a little, magic to go into John Constantine's head, and they're actually moving away from Blight because it's kind of, well, it says that they vanquished Blight, and now they're focusing on the crime syndicate, and I'm like saying, you know, it's about time that they focus on them.
Did they vanquish him? I thought Blight was still around.
No, they vanquished him.
He's gone.
Last issue. Yeah. Well, I said that in last review.
I know, but I thought it would come back.
Yeah, but I didn't want to give too much away. So they get into John Constantine's head, and Phantom Stranger is just trying to make him strong. Meanwhile, Pandora is trying to work on where Zatanna's exact location is, and she goes to Swamp Thing and Zor-El, where Sea King is in this, and meanwhile, first of all, the artwork is just really great. Like, absolutely
Sea King
amazing.
is basically Dead Man.
Yeah, because John Constantine locked him in there. So, because there's going to be, I'm going to tell you, and I knew it was going to happen all along, but basically John Constantine, he gets out of his own world, and now they're using the magic to find where Zatanna is. Because John Constantine is all about finding Zatanna because she is like heart and soul to him. So this is where I knew they were going to do this to Sea King. They want the Sea King, or Dead Man, to go to the crime syndicate's lair to see what's going on. So that way they'll know, you know, what to expect and everything.
So Dead Man's going undercover, basically.
Yeah, and then at first he gets into a little bit of a fight scene with the people in the castle, and he meets up with Felix Foss and Nick Necro, who they believe he is Sea King, and he just says that he wants the crime syndicate here in short order, and in spirit mode, they will now actually find out other stuff, since Sea King is like the common source. And now, it will actually be continued in Constantine issue number 11, and I hope I do not see another disappointing comic like I saw last time in Constantine.
Well, we'll see.
But we'll see, yeah, but the way the story is playing out, with Blight gone, now it's time to go to the crime syndicate. And that part alone, I just want to just see them just beat the holy hell out of crime syndicate and bring back all the Justice League, so that way no more evilness. Yeah. Everything's all good guys again. And that's all for me this week.
We got 4 minutes left. I'll do this and then we'll just switch real quick. Forever Evil Arkham War issue number 5. Bane and Dobbs, who is basically the only Talon that hasn't been brainwashed by Scarecrow, go off to fight the other Talons who have been brainwashed and basically break their brainwash. This way they'll work for Bane and fight against Arkham Asylum instead of fighting for Arkham. Dobbs actually has a unique plan where basically he would force the Talons to use more of their healing factor.
Why is Batman so buff?
That's not Batman, that's Bane.
Oh.
So
that tricked me. Wow.
So Dobbs' plan basically works because they're forced now. Their regeneration has been heightened because of the severe trauma to their bodies. Basically, it also pushes out the brainwash that they were under by Scarecrow. But Scarecrow basically says, to rely on just a gun would be ridiculous, especially if the gun doesn't shoot straight. So basically, we all think that Scarecrow's plans have been foiled. However, they haven't. He has a backup plan, and it involves Bane's venom, and he wants all the Arkhamites basically to take in the venom, become as strong as Bane, and then together they will destroy Bane and the rest of his army. And of course, none of them are for it. They're like, we never wanted you to be our leader, Scarecrow. We don't need you, this and that. And they're like, we're not going to drink your wine because that's obviously been filled with venom. And it turns out that it's not the wine. It's actually the air that he tainted with venom. And yeah, let's just say they've all been now buffed up, just like on the cover. So now in the next issue, even though Bane has all the Talons, he has to go up against a venomized Arkham Asylum group of supervillains.
And he will probably break them.
We'll see, or they might try to break
him. Yeah, that would be actually funny if they broke him. That would be
I feel like the series has gotten to the point where it definitely doesn't feel like it needs to be a part of Forever Evil. It's like something where like Batman's gone, so this is what's going to happen right now. Obviously, it is part of Forever Evil though, so for its own title, it's really good. Do you need this to be 100% up to date with what's going on in Forever Evil? Absolutely not. The only other book out of all the miniseries that I feel connects at all to Forever Evil is Argus, and that's what Mike's reading.
Yeah.
So you don't even need Blight at this point, because Blight is basically in the dark side of the DC universe.
That's true.
All you need is Forever Evil, Justice League of America, and Justice League, and you basically covered all your bases for the main Forever Evil.
Yeah, but Blight actually is now turning towards the.
Well, let's see what happens in the next
issues to come. Just not what happened then. I'm talking about now.
Mm-hmm. So with this, that leaves only one issue left. Just give us 1 second. We're gonna freeze frame, so to speak. You guys aren't gonna notice it because it's just gonna go right to us. I'm gonna find a way to do like an invisible tap to Michael or something. So next time we won't have to say, "Hold on 1 second." We'll continue at the push of a button. So but right now, we'll continue at the push of a button. Alright, and with that push of the button, we are at the last issue. Issue 5 of 7, Forever Evil. Shit got real finally in this book. Finally, the villains are taking it against the oh god, what are they called?
Syndicate.
The Crime Syndicate. No, not the Crime Syndicate.
Ooh.
The Legion that Lex Luthor's put together is finally striking back. But Sinestro, actually, thanks to Batman using that yellow lantern ring, Sinestro is on Earth now, and Sinestro actually draws first blood. So this book is basically divided into 3 scenes. It's Lex Luthor and his group of people with Batman and Catwoman versus the Secret Society, let's say it that way. Sinestro versus Power Ring, and then at the end of the book, it's the Crime Syndicate. Now I'm going to warn you guys right now that there are going to be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you could either fast forward to the end or you could basically stop the video. This is the last book, and then we're just going to be talking about comic related, but it is important, so if you want... Frontline. Well, comic Frontline and comic related.
Well, yeah, they're both together.
Right. So anyway, we're going to be talking about that, so you can fast forward till when you see me put this book down, and then check out some news really quick, because we've got time. Anyway, Sinestro, Lex Luthor finds a way to persuade Deathstroke to his side, so Deathstroke is now going against the Secret Society. Sinestro not only severs Power Ring's arm from his body, severing the ring from his body, but he basically destroys Power Ring. Power Ring is no longer alive. First Crime Syndicate member to be destroyed. Lex Luthor and his group of people take out the Secret Society, and Batman's like, you know what, fine, whatever. If we're going to do this together, you're going to follow my rules. And Catwoman keeps whispering to him, saying, maybe you shouldn't strongly suggest anything. You're the only one here. Batman forgets he's the only one there right now. And Sinestro gets convinced by Lex Luthor to stay on Earth to actually help Lex out. And Batman's like, you know what? If we're going to work together, I'm in charge. And you just got the whole group of villains looking at him. And Catwoman's like, Batman, they're in charge. You have also the Crime Syndicate looking for the Kryptonite Ring. Ultraman and Superwoman rip apart Batman's Batcave for it. It's not there. However, they find out news that because of what happened with Power Ring's ring leaving and jumping into the multiverse, the creature that destroyed their world is now on the main Earth 1's Earth. And that's where it's to be continued. Next issue is The Secrets of the Crime Syndicate. I'm looking forward more to Justice League and Justice League of America this month to see what else we're going to uncover in Forever Evil. That's the abbreviated version. No word bubbles, really. I highly recommend this series. Forever Evil is my pick of the week. Out of every single book I read here, I love Forever Evil. I think this book was perfect. Quick read, of course. It's literally 3 scenes. The fight with the Secret Society, the fight between Sinestro and Power Ring, and then anything else that's Crime Syndicate related. And that's it.
And that's it.
So it was a quick read, but it was an awesome read, spectacular read. 100% highly recommend you guys check out Forever Evil issue number 5. It was spectacular. And that's it for this week, guys. So as always, don't forget to check out comicrelated.com as well as comicfrontline.com. Comicrelated.com. Both together, we are your #1 source and resource for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more.
Gotta get like a chair that has wheels.
I know, right? Now, really quickly, had to figure that was going to happen anyway.
Yep.
We talked about comic-related. Now, Comic Frontline. As of Monday is going to be the last day for anything to be uploaded on Dark Avenger Inc. Dark Avenger Inc. will be closing our doors at 12 midnight on Tuesday. Count it the end of Monday, beginning of Tuesday, what have you. There will be a farewell video posted up, or at least a farewell for now video posted up by myself, closing out the channel and ending any further future posts on the channel. My video will
The channel will still be there.
Absolutely. My video will be the last one on Comic Frontline. Then Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, when we normally do the Dark Avenger Inc. live show.
Eastern time. 9 o'clock.
Are you done?
I'm just saying for Eastern time.
On Comic Frontline, we will be doing our first live show. So if you're not subscribed to Comic Frontline's YouTube channel, please do. This way you will know when the live show is going on, and you will be notified when it goes on, and it'll be in your feed. Yeah, you have to be subscribed to know when a channel goes live anyway. So we have some guests that are going to be on with us, some YouTuber guests that are going to come on in the second hour. We're going to be talking about things that are going to be coming up, coming on, or going on Comic Frontline. Like I've said at the beginning of this episode, we've already been uploading stuff on Comic Frontline. We're not even really waiting anymore. I mean, 24 hours is not really that long of a, a wait.
It's amazing how we actually tried waiting this long.
Yeah, and I thought this was too short. Could you imagine if we actually went further? It'd be crazy. Beside the point, though, we've got stuff on Comic Frontline already. I'm saying Comic Related again. We got tons of stuff coming on. Like I said, we got tons of trailers that we're going to be posting up from between tonight all the way into Tuesday. And even beyond Tuesday, there's going to be more trailers, because we're not going to just jump right into a lot of the series. We're going to trailer it first and then jump into it. There's a lot of stuff we got planned, a lot of interviews, a lot of people we're going to be talking with. There's lots and lots of stuff to come on Comic Frontline. It's going to be, if you guys enjoy Dark Avenger Inc., this channel is going to be 10 times bigger, better, and crazier than Dark Avenger Inc.
Basically, we're going beyond ourselves here.
Yeah, this is going to be way beyond what we've been doing on Dark Avenger Inc. So please, if you haven't already, do subscribe to Comic Frontline. It's youtube.com/Comic Frontline. You can check us also out at comicfrontline.com. Basically, that takes you to our page where we have all of our written articles and videos. We will have a website sometime by the middle of this year, hopefully, which brings it all together, and this way you only have to worry about one thing, comicfrontline.com. You won't have to worry about typing in YouTube or anything. It'll all be right there together for you on one
specific website.
So guys, until next time,
yep.
Take care, keep reading, keep collecting.
And keep watching.
Thank you. I was waiting for that.
I thought you didn't want me to say that. Only.
Well, you always do it anyway. And we will see you guys in the next review. Look forward to the end of Dark Avenger Inc. and the beginning of, well, for now, and the beginning of Comic Frontline. Can't wait.
Yep.
We will see you guys on Tuesday on Comic Frontline's first live show. Till then, take care, and we'll see you real soon.
Yep. Later, guys.
Take care, everybody.